Welcome to the Time Management Podcast with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm a productivity coach, global speaker, time management author, and award-winning entrepreneur on a mission to share the 888 formula with the world and to remind you that it's your time. Leave it to me to bring you new time management tips, tricks, tools, and strategies, to introduce you to guests, research, and case studies from around the world, and to give you a simple 5-step process you can follow to uplevel your productivity, achieve your goals, and create a life that exceeds your wildest dreams. I'm so excited that you're here, so let's get started. Welcome to the show. This week's episode is a celebration of my near-death experience, which happened 13 years ago on a work business trip to Boston, America, 25th of February, 2012. In this episode, we're looking back at the lessons I've learned, the changes I've made, and the message I was sent back to share with the world. Because what if today really was your last day? Would you be happy with the life that you have been living up until now, or would you have regrets? This episode is for you if you're ready to start living your success story. It's for you if you know that the life you're living right now is not the way you want it to be. And it's definitely for you if you've been waiting for a sign to make some changes. I'm so excited that you're here today. I'm so excited that it's you and me. And I am beyond grateful to have this opportunity, first of all, to speak to you on a podcast, and second of all, to be here, still alive and able to speak to you. Because if I take you back to February 2012, in fact, if I take you back prior to that, I always felt like I was living the wrong life. I don't know if you can resonate with this, but on paper, my life looked good. In reality, I just felt nothing. Every single day felt like Groundhog Day. I felt, well, let's be honest, I didn't feel nothing. I felt helpless. I felt hopeless. I felt trapped. I felt stuck. I felt forgotten. And I always felt lost. And everybody around me seemed to be so happy. So I just figured that maybe I was the problem. Instead of trying something new, I kept doing the same things over and over again. I was stuck in this never-ending victim story of if only. If only I had this, I could do that. If only this worked, then that could happen. If only, if only, if only. So I just kept trying the same things over and over again. I tried the parties, I tried the Prada, I tried the promotions, I tried the Prosecco, I even tried the holidays. When I get to there, when I do this, it will all get better. And I was aware around me that other people were doing different things, but I didn't really know any of those people in my close circle. And personal development back then wasn't big. Just for context, YouTube started in 2005, but it didn't actually become popular until 2015. Instagram started in 2010, but that didn't become popular until 2018. And then TikTok started in 2016, and that didn't become popular until 2018. So in 2012, there wasn't really much for me to use as inspiration. There was Richard Branson, but he just seemed so far away, so improbable. So I just kept doing the same things over and over again. And it was Jim Rohn who actually said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so most of us are living in the same jars. We can't read the label when we're living in the same jars. And welcome to the echo chamber. We're all doing the same things, expecting to get different results. It was Einstein who called that insanity. So it was quite literally my stroke on that day that drew a line in the sand, stopped the world that I was living in, the experience I was having. in its tracks. And since then, the last 13 years have been a personal development journey of putting things back together. Because for the benefit of the listeners who are new to me, new to my story, I walked away from the stroke without any physical disabilities. If you would meet me now in the street, it would be very hard for you to think that I had even had a stroke. And some days I forget that I have, and some days I can't even identify with that anymore. And that just goes to show that time and life and things can change, and they can change beyond recognition. Because I really feel like life before and life now are two sides of the same coin. You flip it, totally different life experience. It's like dark and night. And this podcast is my attempt to share with you the things that I do personally to enhance my own mindset, to enhance my own life, and to surround myself with possibility, with potentiality, and with proof. So every single episode is either me sharing something I've done or me bringing a guest who has done something to change their life, which is why in those guest episodes, I always ask them, what was life like before? What was life like now? What was your transformation? And not everybody needs to have such a dramatic transformation. Dramatic stories really are for people who aren't listening and aren't paying attention to any of the signs. I was not paying attention to any of the signs in the previous, let's say maybe 5 years in the run up to it. There were things that I could have spotted, but I just couldn't, because you can only see what is in your conscious awareness. And this is why I'm absolutely obsessed with the conscious and the subconscious and the mindset. If you're resonating with this episode and you are starting on the journey of working out why things aren't going your way, I would highly recommend you check out episode 33. Are your thoughts sabotaging your time management? This episode is about how you can remove the negative thoughts. Because when it comes to the thoughts we're thinking, the negative thoughts are taking up so much time. And that time is our life. In that episode, I give you some homework. That homework is to track your thoughts for 24 hours. Start to become aware of the things you're saying to yourself. If I was more aware of the things I'd been saying to myself in the run up to my stroke, I mean, I can definitely remember one of them. Classic. This job is killing me. What did I manifest? Be careful what you're saying. The universe has no sense of humor. It will bring you what you are saying repeatedly. How many of us jokingly say that sentence? So we just have to really be aware of the thoughts that we're thinking. That episode is a great place to start. Episode 44 is also a great place to start, because maybe people pleasing might be one of the reasons why you're not so happy with the life that you have right now. And I wasn't truly aware of how much I was a people pleaser, and am a recovering people pleaser. It's so deeply ingrained in me, in you, in all of us, that when we do these things, people are happy. When we do it this way, we get a prize. When we do it that way, they're disappointed. Who are the people that we are trying to impress? Are some of these people even unimpressible? There are 4 trauma responses. That's what we're talking about in episode 44. Is people pleasing a trauma response? It might be that something happened which has triggered you to operate from this place now. The 4 types of trauma responses are fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. How many of us find ourselves going into that fawn, where we are just appeasing people and saying the things that we know they want us to say, but we don't really mean it? When we are living this life, when we are not living from our true soul purpose, when we are not doing things that we enjoy, we start to create this internal narrative, this internal story of what's the point? And then what's the point becomes one of these subconscious thoughts that we live out, we play out over and over again. In episode 37, we looked at, is procrastination a trauma response? Procrastination is stopping yourself from doing the thing. Why are you stopping yourself from doing the thing? Are you afraid of what might happen if you do the thing and it works out, of who you will become? So many people I talk to about procrastination, it's not about they don't want to do it. It's about all the other stories that they're making up. That is a great episode. I would recommend you check that one out. And while we're talking about the things, the stories that lead us down the path that we don't want to be going down, episode 25, imposter syndrome, in that episode, we talked about the big secret that nobody is telling you. Success in life is really 80% mindset, 20% strategy. That's why in these episodes, I'm trying my best not to give you too much of the strategy. I am trying to give you actionable things that you can actually do, because your success is 100% down to the actions that you take in spite of fear, in the face of imposter syndrome, and not feeling ready to try something new, but deep down knowing that it's now or now. That now is the best time to start, because who knows, that clock is ticking. Today could be the last day for any of us. And not saying that from a go into the fear place, but saying that from a make the most. It's an opportunity. And it's not an opportunity that's granted to everybody. There are some people right now in the hospital begging, like I was on that day, for a second chance, begging for health. And I was lucky enough, fortunate enough, that I have been given this second chance. And so believe me, with this, it is my life purpose now to share with others that regret is the worst feeling in the world. When I thought that that was it, when I thought that that was my life over, the only thing I can remember thinking was, I haven't lived. I really haven't lived. I've been waiting for that day. I've been waiting for permission. I've been waiting to feel ready. Because when we change the thought patterns, the habit loops, we can go into what they call the competence loop. That's where when we try something new, we learn and we build new skills, we gain competency in that skill, and we become confident, which is why you'll often hear me say, knowledge isn't power. Knowledge plus action is power. Knowledge is just knowledge. It's just information. It's just data. It's just books on the shelf. Unless you do something with those books on the shelf, your life will not change. Your experience, when you get to the end of it, you will look back and you will regret that you never gave it a go. Please, off the back of this episode, take my story as an example. Give it a go. Not everybody gets a second chance. Some people, that is the end. Fundamentally, when you change the way you look at your time, the time you have will change. We covered this in a program that I launched last year called Magic Time, where we were looking at Einstein time, Newtonian time, and how time doesn't really exist how we have been taught it exists, how we believe it exists. There is so much leading edge science around time. Definitely recommend you check that program out. It is in the library. You can buy it and do it as a self-study. And if you don't know where your time is going, you're always busy, you're always feeling on the verge of burnout, your to-do list is stressing you out daily, then episode 15, Where is All My Time Going, is definitely for you. In that episode, the homework is to track your time for 7 days, because this is where you will find out where it's all going, what's taking it, what you're spending it on, where it's leaking, and you're not even fully aware. Because when you start to track yourself, that's when you'll start to see. Think about it from this point of view. When you're talking to a friend Are you not able to solve their problems like that? Are you not able to say to them, I can't understand why you're not doing this. I can't understand why you can't see this. It's so obvious. It's so obvious to you because you're not living in their life. It's so obvious to you because you are tracking what they're doing. When you track what you're doing, that's when your life will change, because it's all well and good to go around the world changing everybody else's life. But if your life doesn't change, why are you here? What are you doing? You're not living from joy. You're not making the most of your resource, your 24 hours. You can do your time tracking with my book. You can do your time tracking on your own. There's a link in the show notes called Audit Your Time. All the instructions are there. You can even download a free chapter of my book to get started. I promise you, when you start paying more attention to you and your life will change. And here is the amazing thing. When you change your life, the domino effect ripples into other people's. Because I don't know about you, but nobody likes to be told what to do. They like to be shown what's worked. Then we've got episode 24, where we brought on a guest expert and we talked about what human design is and how knowing your human design can save you time. When I came across human design in 2020, it absolutely blew my mind. It helped me to identify I'm a 5-2 emotional generator, which means that when I feel connected to something and when I'm doing something that I love, I absolutely get energy. When I'm doing something that I don't love, it is the hardest work I will ever do. I will be the most frustrated, the most angry, the most annoyed person you could ever be around. But when I'm doing something that I love, I'm like a light bulb. And the more I love it, the more the light bulb lights up, which is why the brand new program that we've been launching this year, Reset Your Success Story, the 2025 edition, is the most exciting program that I've created in a very long time, because this is the culmination of 12 years in business, over 10 years in corporate, and over 17 years of academic study. That's a degree, that's a postgrad, that's a coaching qualification, that's a neuroscience qualification, that's AI training, sales training, digital marketing training, personal branding training, website building training, SEO training, the list goes on. Because when you get into business, you have to keep educating yourself. There is so much to learn. The same as in a job. This training has been designed to support you as you identify 2 goals that you want to achieve in your life in the next 25 days. It will give you the mindset and the strategy to achieve them. It is a combination program because I have identified, as I said earlier, that mindset is part of it, strategy is the other part of it, and then walking it out, taking the steps, doing the doing is what is going to change your life experience. Reset Your Success Story is open for enrollment right now, and you can pick either the self-study option and keep yourself accountable, or you can sign up for the current group option and get the support and the accountability to achieve your goals. The group option is only open twice per year. So this is the first time this year. Then we will close that group option. It will only be available as a self-study program until we open it again and do another group for 25 days later in the year. Because your success story isn't just waiting to be written, it's waiting to be lived by you. You can use the code podcast20 and get 20% discount for a limited time when you sign up for either the self-study program or the group training option. Or if you decide that you want to do the VIP experience and get one-to-one support with me, then that 20% discount code applies to all 3 options. One thing that I know for sure is that if I can achieve my dreams, then you can too. And we'll do it together, one goal at a time. We are here for a lifetime of dream achievement. We will never run out of things that we want to achieve and things that we want to do. And what I would love you to know is that if you are saying to yourself, when I have everything, then my life will be amazing, you are gaslighting yourself. With that belief as your foundation, when you have everything, your life won't be amazing, because that belief is sitting on the foundational belief that you are not good enough on the journey. The key is to enjoy the journey, to find fun in the work so that the work becomes the fun and your life becomes of course. Of course things work out for you. Of course you get that pay rise. Of course you get promoted. Of course you get the bonus. Of course you sign that new client. Of course your love life is amazing. Success follows actions. If you want a different life, you'll need to start telling a new story. Remember, I said at the beginning of the podcast, the stories I was telling before my stroke were getting me the life I was experiencing, the one I didn't enjoy, the one I never felt I was good enough for, the one where I was constantly chasing. That's not to say the life I live now is perfect. That's to say the life I live now is evolving and I am aware of it. And I am now surrounded by people who are also evolving, who are also pushing the limits, who are also doing things that are out of their comfort zone and doing things that aren't necessarily easy. If you follow me on social media, you'll see this weekend I took my friend to a breathwork movement meditation workshop. This workshop for them was 2 hours to get there, 2 hours to get home, an hour drive in the car, an hour on the train, an hour back on the train, an hour drive home. They did that because that's the kind of life that they live. That's the kind of standard that they have set for themselves. Would you go 2 hours to attend something? Would you fly somewhere to attend something? I've flown to San Diego before for a 4-day personal development conference with one of my mentors. I was one of 23 people in the room of 5,000 who had flown in from around the world. And I'm so grateful to myself that I did it because it got me out of my comfort zone. It connected me to other people who are doing similar things to what I am doing. And it proved to me that there are other people in the world who think differently and who then live differently and get different results. So use the link in the show notes if you're signing up to Reset Your Success Story, if you are doing it as the self-study, or if you are joining this group. We are starting on the 3rd of March. If you're listening to this episode after the 3rd of March, as I said, you'll be able to access the training and do it as the self-study. There's also an option in there to invest in a one-to-one session with me as well. If you have any questions, connect with me, DM me on any of the social media platforms. The homework for today: track your time for 7 days. Audit your thoughts for 24 hours. And if you want to join us in the Productive Wellbeing Community, which is a free group that we've got, the link is in the show notes to join that group and meet people in that group from around the world as well. We'd love to see you in there. And until next time, my friend, I'm so grateful that I'm here with you. Stay safe, stay well, and remember, it's your time. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to let me know by leaving a review so I can keep the good stuff coming. Come and say hi on Instagram at Success by Design Training, or visit my website successbydesigntraining.com, or connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search Abigail Barnes. Until next time, don't forget, you are amazing and it's your time.